What if I told you that one simple thing you do with your hands on February 2nd could change how much money you attract this year? Not your job, not your connections, not your luck, your hands. And before you roll your eyes, this isn't about superstition. It's about identity, focus, and how the brain decides what you're worthy of receiving. Think about this for a second. Every day, your hands touch your phone, your wallet, your laptop, your life. Your hands are the interface between who you are and what you get. So on February 2, you don't just wash your hands with water. You wash them with intention. You take water, you stand still, and as it runs over your hands, you mentally say, I release old habits, old fear, old limits around money. And then, I'm open to opportunities. I act with confidence. I expect more from life and from myself. Not because water is magical, but because you are changing how you see yourself. Rituals work because they change your identity, not because of any external magic, and that's where their real power comes from. Every action you repeat sends a message to your brain about who you are. Your mind is constantly asking, what kind of person does this? And then quietly updating your self-image based on the answer. When you perform a ritual, especially one that's intentional and symbolic, you are not just doing a behavior, you are reinforcing a story about yourself. That story becomes your identity, and your identity drives your choices far more than motivation or logic ever will. If you see yourself as someone who is careless, reactive, or unlucky with money, you will naturally make decisions that match that belief without realizing it. You might avoid opportunities, undercharge for your work, procrastinate, or stay silent when you should speak up. A ritual interrupts that pattern. When you deliberately stop, focus, and perform a meaningful action, you're telling your brain, I am someone who is intentional. I am someone who takes control. I am someone who expects more. The brain responds by aligning your behavior with that upgraded self-image. Rituals also create emotional certainty. The brain loves predictability and meaning. When you attach meaning to an action, your nervous system relaxes and your confidence rises. You feel grounded, you feel ready, and when you feel ready, you move differently. You make eye contact, you speak clearly, you take action faster, you tolerate less nonsense. All of those behaviors are what actually attract better results, including money. Another reason rituals work is because they mark a psychological boundary between the old version of you and the new one. Humans need moments of transition. Without them, change feels vague and temporary. A ritual gives your mind a clean break. It says, before this moment, I was one way. After this moment, I am another. That mental shift is powerful because your brain likes consistency. Once you see yourself as the new version, your mind will try to behave in ways that prove that story is true. So the effectiveness of a ritual doesn't come from the water, the words, or the timing. It comes from the identity you step into while doing it. You are not trying to force the world to change. You are training yourself to become the kind of person who naturally creates better outcomes through how they think, speak, and act. February 2nd works as a symbolic reset because the human mind responds powerfully to markers of time. We naturally divide our lives into chapters using dates, seasons, and milestones, and these mental divisions make change feel more possible. When a new month begins, your brain is more open to letting go of the past and imagining a different future. February 2nd sits right at the start of a new phase, after the first month of the year has already shown you what's working and what isn't. It becomes a moment where reflection and intention meet, which is why it can feel especially potent for resetting your direction. By this point, the initial rush of January motivation has either faded or proven unrealistic, and that's actually a good thing. You now have real data about your habits, your discipline, and your mindset. February 2nd gives you a chance to consciously say, I'm not just continuing automatically, I'm choosing how I move forward. That choice is psychologically empowering. It restores a sense of agency, which is essential for growth, confidence, and better decision-making. Symbolic resets also help release emotional clutter. The mind carries unfinished business, regret, and frustration, and without a clear moment to put those down, they bleed into your present behavior. A reset point allows you to mentally close loops. You stop replaying what didn't work and start focusing on what you can do now. That shift reduces stress and increases clarity, which directly improves how you show up in your work, relationships, and goals. Another reason February 2nd works well is because it's close enough to New Year energy to still feel fresh, but far enough in to feel grounded. It's not about dreaming anymore, it's about choosing. When you treat that day as a reset, you're telling your brain that change is active, not delayed. You move from waiting mode into action mode, and that transition is where momentum is born. Water has always been used as a symbol of clarity, release, and intention, because the mind naturally connects physical sensation with emotional meaning. When something touches your body, your brain doesn't experience it as just a neutral event. It asks what this moment represents. Water, in particular, is associated with washing, renewal, and movement. So when you use it intentionally, your nervous system interprets the action as a signal that something is being let go and something new is beginning. Clarity comes from stillness and focus. When you run water over your hands and pause to feel it, you're creating a brief break from mental noise. Your attention shifts from racing thoughts to physical sensation. That shift grounds you in the present moment, and the present moment is where clear decisions are made. Instead of reacting on autopilot, you become aware of what you're choosing. That awareness is the foundation of confidence and better judgment. Release happens because the brain uses imagery to process emotion. When you imagine old fears, doubts, or limits being washed away, your mind treats that image as meaningful. It reduces the emotional weight attached to those thoughts. You're not erasing your past, but you are loosening its grip on your behavior. That emotional lightness changes how you move through your day. You feel less burdened, less defensive, and more open. Intention works because your brain follows direction. When you combine a physical action with a clear mental statement, you give your subconscious something to organize around. You're not just thinking, I want more money, in a vague way. You're pairing that desire with a felt experience. The mind remembers experiences more than words, so the water becomes a trigger for the state you want to live from. Each time you recall that moment, your body and mindset reconnect with the confidence, openness, and readiness you felt while setting that intention. Money naturally flows toward confidence and decisiveness because those qualities signal value, reliability, and momentum to the world around you. When someone moves with uncertainty, hesitation, or self-doubt, people subconsciously read that as a lack of trust in themselves. That perception affects how others respond, from employers and clients to partners and investors. Confidence communicates that you believe in what you offer, and decisiveness shows that you can take responsibility for outcomes. Together, they make you someone others want to engage with, support, and pay. Confidence isn't loudness or arrogance. It's quiet certainty. It shows up in how you speak, how you hold your body, and how you handle pressure. When you're confident, you don't over-explain, apologize unnecessarily, or shrink your presence. You state your value clearly. That clarity reduces friction in financial exchanges. People feel safer investing in someone who seems grounded and sure of themselves. They trust that you'll follow through, solve problems, and adapt when things don't go perfectly. Decisiveness is equally powerful because money moves through action. Opportunities don't reward people who endlessly analyze. They reward people who choose, adjust, and move forward. A decisive person doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They commit, learn, and refine along the way. That creates momentum, and momentum attracts more opportunities. When you act, you create feedback. When you get feedback, you grow. When you grow, your earning potential expands. There's also an internal side to this. When you see yourself as confident and decisive, your brain looks for evidence to support that identity. You notice chances you used to ignore. You speak up where you used to stay silent. You ask for raises, pitch ideas, and set boundaries. Those behaviors directly affect your financial reality. Money doesn't chase luck. It follows the people who trust themselves enough to move. If this already hit you, do two things right now. Like this so more people hear it. Comment, "I'm ready for more." Say it out loud. Type it. Own it. Your actions follow your beliefs because the mind is always trying to stay consistent with the story you tell about yourself and the world. Whatever you believe to be true about who you are, what you deserve, and what's possible will quietly guide your behavior, often without you noticing. If you believe money is hard to earn, you'll avoid risks and stick to what feels safe. If you believe you're not good with finances, you'll ignore opportunities to learn or grow. These beliefs don't feel like choices. They feel like reality, so your actions naturally line up with them. Rituals help rewrite those beliefs by creating emotional experiences that contradict the old story. The brain doesn't change just because you tell it new facts. It changes when it feels something new. When you perform a ritual with intention, you're giving your mind a lived experience of being focused, deliberate, and in control. That experience sends a different message to your subconscious. I am someone who takes charge. Over time, that message starts to replace the old belief. As your beliefs shift, your actions change automatically. You don't have to force yourself to behave differently. You simply feel more able to do things you used to avoid. You speak more confidently. You handle money with more attention. You make choices that reflect self-respect instead of fear. This is why real change feels effortless once your identity changes. You're not pushing against yourself anymore. You're acting in alignment with who you think you are. The most powerful part is that the cycle reinforces itself. New actions create new results. New results strengthen new beliefs, and those beliefs drive even better actions. Rituals start that loop by giving you a concrete moment where you step into a different version of yourself, even briefly. Once you've felt that version of you, your mind knows it's possible, and it begins to look for ways to make it real in everyday life. Attraction is behavioral before it's mystical, because what you receive from life is shaped first by what you do, not by what you wish for. People often focus on manifestation as if the universe responds to thoughts alone, but in reality, the world responds to signals, and those signals are your actions, your tone, your presence, and your choices. Long before anything feels magical, it's practical. The opportunities you attract are a direct reflection of how you show up. When you walk into a room with energy, clarity, and intention, people feel it. They respond to it. They listen differently. They engage differently. That's not mysticism. That's psychology. Humans are wired to read cues from one another. We sense confidence, focus, and direction. We also sense hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Those signals shape how others treat you and what they offer you. So attraction begins with behavior, not belief alone. Your habits play a massive role in what you attract. If you're disciplined, consistent, and proactive, you naturally create more chances for good things to happen. You meet more people, you try more things, you put yourself in situations where opportunity exists. None of that requires magic. It requires movement. The more you move, the more the world has to respond to. Even your internal state affects your behavior. When you feel hopeful, you're more likely to take action. When you feel worthy, you're more likely to ask for what you want. When you feel prepared, you're more likely to step into challenges. Those inner shifts translate into visible behaviors, and those behaviors change your external reality. So when people say they're trying to attract money, love, or success, what they're really doing is learning how to behave like someone who already has those things. They start speaking differently, choosing differently, and expecting differently. The attraction comes from alignment between who you are being and what you want to receive. The mystical language is just a poetic way of describing a very real behavioral process. Consistency beats superstition because real change is built through repeated behavior, not isolated moments. Superstition relies on the hope that a single action will somehow override your patterns, but your life is shaped by what you do most often, not what you do once. The brain learns through repetition. It strengthens whatever you practice. If you act focused and disciplined once a month, but distracted and avoidant every day, your nervous system will follow the daily pattern, not the occasional ritual. Consistency works because it compounds. Small actions done regularly reshape your habits, your identity, and your outcomes over time. When you show up every day, even in simple ways, you send a clear message to your brain about who you are. You become someone who follows through, someone who keeps promises to themselves. That self-trust is far more powerful than any symbolic gesture done without follow-up. Superstition feels appealing because it offers control without effort. It suggests that if you say the right words, use the right object, or choose the right day, your life will change without you needing to. But the brain doesn't change from shortcuts. It changes from evidence. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, you give your mind proof that you are capable. That proof builds confidence, and confidence fuels more action. Consistency also reduces decision fatigue. When something becomes part of your routine, you don't debate it anymore. You just do it. That saves mental energy and makes progress automatic. Instead of relying on bursts of motivation or belief, you rely on structure. Structure creates stability, and stability allows growth. Over time, consistent behavior rewires your sense of what's normal. What once felt difficult becomes familiar. What once felt uncomfortable becomes natural. This is how people truly change their financial habits, their work ethic, and their self-image. Not through dramatic one-time acts, but through quiet, repeated choices that slowly reshape how they think, move, and respond to the world. The real magic is how you show up after the ritual, because nothing changes in your life unless you do. A ritual can shift your mindset, but mindset only matters if it turns into behavior. What actually creates new outcomes is the way you speak, decide, act, and respond once you've mentally reset. The moment after the ritual is where identity meets reality. That's when you start living like the person you just claimed to be. If the ritual makes you feel clearer, you start making cleaner decisions. You stop wasting time on things that don't move your life forward. You answer emails differently. You handle money with more awareness. You notice opportunities you would have ignored before, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. Your perception sharpens, and perception drives action. When you show up with more confidence, people treat you differently. They listen more, they respect your time more, they trust your competence more. That changes the quality of conversations you have and the offers that come your way. Money is often the byproduct of trust and value, and how you show up determines whether people feel those things from you. How you show up also affects how you treat yourself. You stop underestimating your effort. You stop settling for half commitment. You stop abandoning your goals when things feel uncomfortable. Instead of asking, "Will this work?" you start asking, "What's the next move?" That shift from doubt to direction is powerful. The ritual is just the doorway. The real work is in how you walk through your day afterward. Every choice becomes a vote for the person you decided to be. Your tone, your posture, your speed, your focus, your follow-through all become expressions of that new identity. That's where results come from, not from the water, the words, or the date, but from the version of you that takes over once the ritual is done. At the end of the day, nothing about this is really about water, dates, or luck. It's about who you decide to be and how you choose to move through your life after that decision. The ritual is just a moment that helps you pause, reset, and step into a clearer version of yourself. From there, everything follows. Your confidence shapes your actions. Your actions shape your results. When you show up with intention, consistency, and belief in your own value, the world responds differently. Opportunities feel closer, money feels less mysterious, and success stops being something you chase and starts being something you create.